With one Forsaken remaining, I was edging closer to Valhalla. It's been some time since we defeated Moda. Myself and Bones had since been exploring the world. We'd come across many meadows, black forests, swamps and mountains, but we knew there was more. We went north, south, east and west, sailed across much of the open seas. We encountered many creatures, invaded enemy villages, yet no sign of Yagluth anywhere in the lands. One day, we decided to travel the furthest we'd ever been before, to the edge of the world. Rumour has it, if you travel to the edge of the world, you'll fall into the abyss and be lost forever. Though we did not scare easily, we were determined and prepared for anything. Or so we thought. A few days and nights passed and we noticed a shift in temperature. The air got warmer. We continued and eventually stumbled upon new land like we'd never seen before. The plains. The plains are wide open biomes filled with rolling hills and sparse trees. It's home to many different kinds of rock formations, some natural, some constructed by the native Fulings. Fulings are small goblin-like creatures that live in the plains. They're often found in small groups, but particularly, and dangerously, in large numbers in the villages. Fulings can be found wielding swords, clubs, spears, shields, and torches. Along with Fulings, you have Berserkers, a beefier version of Fulings. They're found wielding large clubs and deal a significant amount of damage. Berserkers can be found protecting Fuling villages. You also have a magical Fuling, a shaman. Again found protecting Fuling villages. Shamans have the ability to buff their allies and create protective shields, not something you should ignore when in battle. Aside from the goblin-like monsters, there were more hostile creatures within the plains. A creature that deals with poor vision and hearing, a lox. Lox are large woolly rhinoceros-like reptiles that are hostile to humans, dealing extremely high damage and can take a beating too, not something to take lightly. Though I saved the best for last, as you could imagine. The smallest creature in the world, yet without a doubt one of the scariest, the Death Skeeto. With Definite's name, it kind of speaks for itself. Death Skeetos are small, aggressive, fast-flying insects of bright orange colours. They give off a loud buzzing noise at all times. If you hear one coming, it's likely too late. We began exploring this new land and eventually stumbled across a Fuling village, guarded by berserkers and shaman. We were drastically outnumbered and the Fulings were well equipped, but they were no match for myself and Bones. We took them down one by one, prioritising the deadly spear throwers. More continued to fall and victory was near. At last they fell. We searched the village, finding new and intriguing items. We came across barley, flax and cloudberries, some gold coins, and acquired a lot of black metal scraps. We made our way back to the ship with our newfound treasures, filled it to the brim and set sail. We had new meat and hide from the lox, flax and barley to grow new and interesting crops, but most importantly, the black metal to craft new deadly weapons and tools. After planting new crops and creating new weapons, we returned to the plains to continue exploring. We knew there was more to this land, but what, we didn't know. We decided to take a closer look at some of the giant monuments. Perhaps this was a clue. We examined many monuments, but there was nothing special about the stone. There wasn't much left of the plains to explore. We were close to turning back, but noticed a few more stone monuments in the distance. Though these monuments looked different to the rest and were shaped into fingers from a hand reaching up through the ground. We approached the stones and it suddenly hit me. This was the altar of the last Forsaken in Valheim, Yagluth. We set up a portal across the river in a safe location. We could use this to fast travel back to the plains. We gathered our best consumables, armor and weapons, and prepared our bodies for what was next. To summon Yagluth required 5 Fuling totems. I placed all 5 on the altar. The skies darkened and the ground shook. At last, Yagluth fell. I finally defeated all of the Forsaken within the world of Valheim. It was now time to return to the sacrificial stones, make my 5th and final sacrifice to the gods, and be welcomed into Valhalla. I returned to the meadows and made my way to the sacrificial stones. I placed Yagluth's trophy on the stones and was blessed with new Forsaken powers. I patiently waited for a sign. I assumed this would be the moment I would be greeted by Odin, or Hugin at least, but this was not to be. I was dropped into this world to defeat the Forsaken, and that I did. Though only after death would I now ascend to Valhalla after proving my worth to the gods, if in fact that to be true. For the rest of my life living in Valheim, I will continue keeping the Forsaken at bay. The Forsaken are the enemy to Odin and the gods, and I'm sure more will rise in the future in attempts to reclaim the land. This was my story. This was the Tales of Dilli.